feel like I'm doing something. Being
You like your tabs? Tabbing. Feeling tabby.
I'm tabbing everyone.
Tab.
Tab your life out. I feel a little nauseous after doing that.
That's good, man. It's the highlight of this week's show where we shout tab and dab.
With no one else around. Two men tabbing.
Tabbing. Good day, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next podcast. This is the Meandering Movie Podcast. I'm Gary, your semi-host, and talking with me today, as always, is...
Big Daddy Gav.
Big Daddy Gav.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ready to talk about movies.
I don't know if it's better or worse, Gavin. They seem to be...
Just imagine me in the shower thinking of these. And I'm like, whoa, what will the name be today?
What will it be?
Big Daddy Gav's the winner.
That 4-hour shower and then you come out. Wrinkled, pruny.
Just feeling fresh as a daisy, ready to talk. You were just standing like, what the fuck have you been? What movies to talk about?
You let me in 3 hours ago and you were naked then and you've been in that shower.
And you're just listening to me sing the entire time.
It's good. It's singing the Daddy
Gav
song.
All of ABBA's greatest hits.
So today it was your choice of topic. And I think, it should be a good one. So the header, the title is Netflix films, state of movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I think, I've seen some of these ones, but I have not seen all of them. So you'll probably be talking more than me, which is fine. You know, I'm the boss of the podcast, but
boss.
I'll let you talk this one.
I'm just the lackey who just comes and just offers you my offerings.
but yeah, so we're gonna talk about a bunch of films and talk about the general state of movies on Netflix. And what I understand of the general state of movies on Netflix is that they are 75 to 80% garbage, with the occasional gem littered in there.
So for me, this is like something that's been brewing in my head for a long time.
I love how you're saying that the sheer mention of this, you're like rubbing your temples.
It's just this
ready to get into it.
This topic has just been like building up because I've watched quite a number of the Netflix exclusive films, and then I've also written my reviews for them and put them up on the ramblingsofascotsman.com. Visit the website. That's a plug, everyone. That's a plug.
Shameless.
I have nothing left but to offer myself. Just please read and listen to me talk about films.
So just to clarify, that was ramblingsofascotsman.com.
Yes.
We'll put that in the description for the episode.
Yay. And the general theme that seems to be with a lot of these films is that they're not good.
Yeah.
And
a lot of them aren't. Even for the plebeians like myself, I've watched a good couple. I watched Bright. Yeah. And that was just like...
What is this film?
It was just bland. You know what? There you go. That's the word of the day. A lot of them are bland.
Yeah.
They have high dreams, but you watch them and you just come away thinking, well, that was fine. That was completely forgettable. But
the interesting thing is like Netflix has curated some incredible talent onto their platform, and I think it's just because they just get the numbers, because you pay however much a month, you forget that you pay that, and you just, what's with Netflix? Yeah. There's a new film by such and such, boom, press on it, watch it, they get the numbers. But the problem is that I don't know where in the assembly line of making the movie it goes wrong, but these movies just come out and you're just like, this is not good. Mm-hmm. Like, I've just watched Apostle, which is Gareth Evans' newest film. He did Raid 1 and Raid 2, which are like these game-changing pieces of like martial arts cinema that everyone's just like, everyone and my grandmother was just like, did you see Raids? Like, did you see those one-take fight scenes? Like,
my nan would not stop talking about the one-take fight scenes. She
was just like, Gary, come over, tea, biscuits, and the Raid. That's what our afternoon's going to be. Like,
great.
Yeah. But I watched Apostle, and like so many Netflix films, it's okay. Mm-hmm. And it's got such an interesting concept. It's kind of like his version of The Wicker Man almost. He's got Dan Stevens, who's just a hunk. Oh my, solid. Dan.
Can't go wrong.
And it has such interesting concepts of like this island cult led by Michael Sheen. Everyone loves the Welshman. And then it introduces supernatural elements. I'm like, this is going to be a bit spooky. There's going to be some horror elements to it. And then the film just kind of meanders around and nothing really comes of it. And I felt like, in the beginning I was like kind of tense and excited. Like, oh, where's this going to go? Like, I know it's going to be violent because I'd seen part of the trailer, and it's certainly violent, but there's just nothing really substantial there. Like, the characters are all people. I'm like, I don't like any of these people.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of these people, and the plot just doesn't really go anywhere interesting, and it just slowly loses you. And by the end,
it's a shame as well because Dan Stevens and Michael Sheen are phenomenal.
Yeah, like,
I mean, separately, and I would assume together, it's brilliant.
It's like a really good cast, and the actors like do great. Like, well, Dan Stevens does do an odd performance at times. I'm just like, just rein it in a wee bit, and just. But it's still it's gets you in the beginning, like boom, I'm in, and then it just kind of loses it.
But that's another weird point, actually. A lot of these Netflix films, and I say a lot, if not all of these Netflix original films, have at least one big hitting name in them.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, because we're a Netflix original film, we've got a cool idea, and a lot of them have these really cool ideas.
Yeah, they've got great concepts.
We've drawn in this big name, and then and then they kind of give these projects to like fledgling directors and fledgling teams a lot of the time. Not a lot all the time, but a lot of the time. And it kind of feels like those people, the people that are making the films, are the ones that are like, ooh, shit, I am way out of my depth.
Yeah. It's kind of like when they give a massive $250 million Marvel film to like some guy who did a B movie before it. But and of course, then some of them just pull it off, like thingy from Guardians of the Galaxy. I forgot his name. James Gunn. He's just like just knocks it apart. But it's so frustrating because, like you're saying, they have some great concepts. Like, I'm looking at some of the list here of like Outsider with Jared Leto. I saw the trailer, thought it was really good. Like, guy in like Japan just after World War II, Americans aren't seen very well, and he slowly just works his way into the Yakuza. Great concept.
Yeah.
Terribly executed. It's, as you said, bland.
But that might be because of Jared Leto.
He is the weakest. It's just like, holy shit, emote.
My friend has a theory on Jared Leto, which is Jared Leto is the worst part of anything he's in. That's not to say he's bad.
Yeah.
But he will always be the
Jared
weakest link.
He'll always be Jared Leto about it. Because, like, I think the only thing that I've liked him in somewhat recently with Blade Runner 2049, just because it was so off the wall weird. I was like, I'm on board with this.
It's still worst bit of Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, because you got Gosling and Ford and everyone else.
But this is exactly it. It's like no matter how well he does, unfortunately, he is.
Because, I mean, let's not even get into Suicide Squad, because this podcast will just take a whole different turn. We're just like, don't know what that was.
Getting a sequel.
Oh, I know. James Gunn's apparently going to direct as well as write.
I mean, it's like that's kind of redeeming, but I mean, I'm hoping he would just be like, you know what, first one didn't happen. Fuck it. With a new Suicide Squad. Write
this down on one of your topic things. We need to talk about the DC universe, because holy shit, is that a disaster. I've never seen a car crash in real life, but I feel if I did, it would be like watching the DC
and you know
universe.
The worst thing is, it's like a years long car crash. Oh, it's like every year a new car just comes and smashes into the back of the pile-up.
And you're just like, oh god, not again. Oh god, there's a baby in that one. It's on fire.
And the analogy works because you can't stop watching. I keep going.
I saw the trailer for Aquaman and I was like, this looks horrific. I need to see it. I just need to see how terrible this is going to be.
Yeah.
Shazam, I'm just like, no.
Shazam at least looks like it's going to be funny. Like, it at least looks like they're leaning into the right. You know what? Dark and moody and broody has not been working for us. Shazam, let's make it funny. But it looks like it looks like a really cheaply made fan movie almost. I thought from the first trailer.
It looks like if someone had been told what Marvel movies are like but never seen one and then made Shazam.
Yes. You know what? Looping all the way back, it looks like a Netflix movie.
Yes, it does. It just like it looks like one of the Marvel Netflix shows where all of it just takes place in alleyways.
Yeah.
Or just grey places.
With the occasional joke thrown in, which is kind of like, oh, that was a weird place for a joke, but it's kind of funny. Yeah.
And Zachary Levi in a really weird like suit.
Just, muscle suit.
Yeah, it's just a bit sad when you compare that to Henry Cavill, who he is the suit, he is the muscle.
Right, so back on topic.
Yes, circling back.
So Apostle was not great. I mean, it is the latest in a series of not great Netflix films.
Because I saw the trailer for it and I was like, holy shit, this looks great. Director, great. So excited for it. Then I watched it and it just slowly lost me. And that's kind of the case for a lot of these films where it's like, so excited, watch it, and just feel kind of...
Never watch it again.
No, even though it's so readily available.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, it's so bad, we need to watch this to get drunk and make a game out of it.
And it seems to be happening, as we've said, more often than not, because Cloverfield was the... Because I was excited for Cloverfield.
Yeah.
So this is what I have seen. I was genuinely like, I love Cloverfield. Loved 10 Cloverfield.
Yeah, that film is just something else.
And then I can't remember the name of it, Cloverfield
Paradox.
Space Paradox. And it was like, I think we touched on this previously, but it answered every question that had ever been raised in Cloverfield.
That you never wanted answered.
Never wanted answered. And it was a detriment to it. And it was just bizarre. It was so utterly bizarre. And like, exactly as we were mentioning, just like tonally had no idea what it was doing.
Yeah.
It felt like it just felt like it didn't know.
It had no logic to it. It just threw
even in
things.
its own universe,
Yeah.
it wasn't making.
It was a logic
sense.
breaking film in a universe that didn't have a lot of logic to it because it didn't need it.
Didn't need it. It was
just
like interesting stories based around
little anthology movies.
Yeah.
And an interesting thing about Cloverfield Paradox is Warner Brothers, like, the film was originally called something else, like The Battery in Space, I have no idea, and it was nothing to do with Cloverfield. J.J. Abrams and Skydance came in.
No, really?
They were just like, this could work with Cloverfield. All the stuff that takes place on Earth with the guy going to the hospital and getting the kid, which nothing became of that.
I forgot about all that.
That
stuff.
was all shot afterwards, and the actress who's in the main part, she just came back and did like some reshoots, and they just kind of added in some wee bits, and they just kind of went, oh, it's Clover. It's like a Frankenstein Cloverfield monster thing. Warner Bros. Saw it and they're just like, we're not putting this out in cinemas. And there's like, Netflix, do you want it? 50 million. And they're like, sure, we'll take it. Super Bowl comes along and Netflix are just like, and Cloverfield, everyone. Genius on their part, because I was just like, oh, I need to watch it now. It's a new Cloverfield and there's been no trailers. Then everyone watched it and everyone went, wow, I can see why this came to Netflix.
It was bizarre.
Just rubbish. Just
total rubbish. And you're right, actually, from a marketing point of view. And I think that's probably a key point of everything that goes wrong with these Netflix films, is that Netflix is incredibly good at marketing. And they've made their money and they can throw money at things. And because they're good at marketing, it's like, Bright, and the most expensive movie that Netflix has ever...
And it's got Will Smith, and it's got the director of Suicide Squad, and it's got Joel Edgerton, who's such an underrated actor.
And it's a kind of cool concept, as we've mentioned.
And the writer of it as well, he'd done... I can't remember. He did a terrible bunch of... He did that film with Daniel Radcliffe...
Horns? Or the Swiss Army Man?
Frankenstein one.
Oh,
he wrote that.
Victor
Frankenstein?
I think it was.
Get that IMDb up.
Let's do it. Wait, Bright writer, Max Landis.
Max Landis, yeah. Son of John Landis, obviously. Has a historic career in cinema. And Max Landis. So I was just like, interesting concept writer, interesting director whose filmography is mixed, but I'll still enjoy watching, like End of Watch and Fury, I think, are two great films from him. And then you've got Will Smith, who's the charisma machine, who just doesn't stop. And then Joel Edgerton, who he directed a film called The Gift, and ever since then I'm just like, you're a man who I want to see everything that you're doing, and you're an orc, so yeah. And then you watch it, and it's just a mess. A total mess, with no tonal idea of what's happening, just really odd racial commentary that was so badly done it was almost insulting.
I mean, it's a common trope with rape. I mean, this is a whole new conversation. It is a common trope in films, though, and I think it's the wrong idea. And just to touch on it very quickly, like, don't show people of color as they are dangerous, because they're orcs. They're 5 times as strong as us. They have incredibly sharp teeth, and they could literally kill all of mankind if they chose to, because they're bloodthirsty beasts. Except if you take out their horns, then they're good guys. It's like, that's painting coloured people in a light which is like, oh yeah, they're bloodthirsty beasts, except when they do this one thing that makes white people feel safe. It's like, that's the wrong message. Like, what is that?
And if you are in any way going to try and explore that, don't do it in a 2-hour action movie.
It's true.
Do it in a... Like, Bright would have worked if it had been a 10-episode Netflix series.
Yeah.
Because then they could have really got into the politics of the situation. They could have explored the elves and their kind of hierarchy. Instead, we just have people chasing a wand.
Yeah.
Because I care about that. And Will Smith just going, motherfucker, and just blowing people away with a shotgun. And I was like, what is happening?
Will Smith is the new Sam Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, no. There's like that great news clip where the guy thinks Samuel Jackson's Lawrence Fishburne. And Samuel Jackson, I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
So horrible.
It's the most painful thing to watch, but also the funniest because Samuel Jackson takes it like Samuel Jackson would.
Does a good job. He turns it.
But here's the crazy thing with the Netflix thing is because it was so readily available.
Yeah.
Everyone watched it, including myself, feeling like an idiot.
Numbers look great.
And then the numbers look great, and Netflix like, boom, let's freaking like number 2.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, no, we don't want a number 2. We want you to invest that money in something good.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I was, I'm trying to remember, right, because I did watch it, and I, being the kind of, again, simpler man, I remember when it was on was like, this is fine. Like,
yeah,
not great, but I was like, this is fine.
When
and you're right, it's an action film. Yeah, and it's an action film that whatever. But like, the more I think about it now, the more I'm like, yeah, what was that? Like, yeah, and I think that's the kind of problem with a lot of them. It's like you could, you know how Poundland inexplicably seems to have.
I'm so happy to see where this goes.
You know how Poundland inexplicably have movies, and you go in, they've got all their movies on the back row for £1, and it's like Pacific Rim has just launched. It's literally just hit the cinema, obviously years ago, just hit the cinema. You go into Poundland and there's Atlantic Rim on the back wall of Poundland. And it's about robots that come out of the ocean and they're fighting monsters. And it's like, it is Pacific Rim made on a fraction of the budget, yeah? That's what I feel like these Netflix films are like nowadays. They're these Poundland films which are being made en masse on a green screen and nothing else.
Yep.
And then being put on Netflix. Netflix is just chucking money at them. There you go. That would be big because we've spent billions on it.
It's interesting you say that because you saying that has made me think what Netflix is like is think about back in '92 when Jurassic Park came out and it was the biggest thing, and then of course VHS was a big thing. So a bunch of like people with cameras went just make movies with dinosaurs, and then you just had a bunch of shit B-movie dinosaur movies come out that just flood the market. It's like. That's what Netflix is. Netflix is like, hey, that thing's popular. Let's just have our own version of that.
Let's do it.
But rubbish. But they're doing an interesting thing where in the 90s, they would just get Joe Schmo, whoever from Backwater, Texas, to make the dinosaur movie. And they'd make it for like $1,000 and you get free pancakes every day. What Netflix are doing is they're going, that Martin Scorsese, let's give him $250 million and let him do whatever he wants. And that Scorsese's like, okay, because all these kids are watching it and they're not going to the cinema anymore, so I'll just... And then somewhere along the line, something goes wrong and the movie The Irishman hasn't come out yet, but it's coming to Netflix.
You've made your mind up.
Which makes me have no faith in the film whatsoever, especially because De Niro's in it, Pacino's in it, and I was like, these are two guys who have given up on acting. Yeah. They're in it for the paycheck these days. I mean, I can still go back to that clip of Pacino and Jack and Jill when he's doing the Dunkin' Donuts thing, and I'm just like, you used to be in Scarface, you used to do incredible work, and now you're dancing to Dunkin' Donuts in an Adam Sandler film.
And that's that, again, probably going back to Netflix marketing, but they're doing a good job of scratching everyone's like, oh, this is what people do want. Well, this is what people think they want. You know what I mean? I'm thinking quotation marks because we all think we know what we want, and that's why Hasbro have released 6 Transformers movies.
I mean, I'm going to say the new Bumblebee movie looks fun. I'm interested to see it.
But again, and that's because all filmmakers have finally realised that nostalgia itself is not good enough. You need to have nostalgia and substance. Together, that's printing money.
Look at Ready Player One. That's nostalgia and nothing else.
Yeah, like, no, exactly. And that's when marketing. That's when Netflix, just call them marketing for now. That's when Netflix is doing well because they're like, right, cool. Everyone loves gangster films. Back in the day, they were huge. Like, those people are getting old now, and they're the ones paying for Netflix. Let's give them a new gangster film. Yeah. But they're bringing in the names that we all want to see on something, which, on a poster, oh my god.
Yeah.
Whoa. And they'll come out, and you're right, it'll just be... I guarantee it'll have a fart joke.
Do you think The Irishman, Martin Scorsese's new film, will have a fart joke?
Yes.
Mark that time
code. I guarantee it. Because it's like that. That seems to be a Netflix consistent. It's like a fucking like the stamp of honor.
A childish joke.
Just one child. Yeah, maybe not a fart joke, but at least something that's just like, wait, what?
Like, where did that come from?
What is that? Yeah. So maybe not a fart joke. We'll call it the fart joke, but it is just that weird, oddball. It's in there for some bizarre reason.
I'll be interested. That's an interesting prediction to make. Although I want to find out, does Irishman have a release date?
I'm not sure.
I keep seeing stills from it. I think the film's finished principal for 2019 is all it says. That's
great.
Thanks, Giggle.
Soon.
Coming soon.
So we've shredded into films. And we could continue to shred into films.
God, I could just run down the list if you want.
Absolutely. But after crapping all over Netflix, there is the other side of this. We mentioned, 75 to 80% would hot garbage.
Yeah.
But occasionally
there are some gems.
They smash out a gem. And I think we, as we always do, should solve the big problem and figure out how Netflix can save themselves and make more films like Annihilation, which I did really enjoy.
Yes.
I still had a few problems in there, which seem tantamount to Netflix.
One that it came to Netflix everywhere except the US, and I'm kind of like, why did you do this to us?
But for the most part, it was a decent movie.
Yeah, I was wowed consistently by that film and the concepts.
Mm-hmm. So the review. Go on, Gavin. Review for Annihilation.
Annihilation is a psychedelic whirlwind of ideas and visual orchestra. There you go. It's the director of Ex Machina, and also, if you believe the rumours, the director of Dread with Karl Urban, and then he also, because there was some weird stuff that happened on that set, and he wrote Sunshine and stuff like that, and something else. I think 20 Days Later, the remake, he wrote that. I'm not sure,
right.
But this is a man who just understands sci-fi, understands how to explore the concepts within his sci-fi in a way that feels fulfilling and satisfying, and that's what Annihilation is for me. It is fulfilling and it is satisfying, and it's a film. Interestingly, no one ever brought this up except when I watched the Red Letter Media review. Of all female-led kind of sci-fi film, which is when was the last time I had one of those?
Yeah, absolutely.
And for some reason, no one paid any attention to this film, and it sadly came out, didn't get a lot of attention, and kind of disappeared again.
So was it made for Netflix, or was it just released on Netflix everywhere sans USA?
It was originally made to be released in cinemas, and then studios saw it, and they're kind of like, nah, we don't really have the faith in this. We'll give you US distribution, and then everywhere else we're just going to dump it on Netflix, and we'll save ourselves the money.
And it's kind of a, I suppose it comes back into this. It's a kind of catch-22. It's kind of like, if Netflix picks something up because studios don't have faith in it, that's probably a hindrance.
Yeah.
It's at the end will hinder the film, and then it goes on Netflix, and then it's so wildly available that two idiots doing a podcast can shred it.
Yes.
For example, and it kind of pulls some of that. Some of the gravitas of the movie.
The magic away.
The magic,
of sitting in the cinema. Because I can't imagine... I hope one day I get to see that movie in the cinema, but I can't imagine being able to sit in the cinema and that lighthouse scene is happening. Yeah. I would have just been weeping with joy experiencing that. And instead, I was in my room, alone, as I always am, because no one loves me, in the dark, with just Annihilation on the TV, thinking... This is amazing. Why am I not seeing this on the big screen?
And this is kind of probably tantamount to the whole conversation, actually. The more I think about it, we're towing the line between cinema experience, which is big screen, surround sound, stereo, whatever, big sound, which a lot of people are getting at home now. And it might be an argument that Bright and Cloverfield, maybe not Cloverfield Paradox, but Bright at the very least, if you had gone to the cinema to see that, would have been a wildly different experience to the one that the majority of us probably have had watching that film.
True.
Because, granted, it's not great and it has its problems, but blasted onto a big screen with lots of noise, I think you could probably more easily get swept away in in the movie because
you
are watching it on a cinema screen. And that's why maybe in another 10 years we wouldn't be able to have this conversation, because in another 10 years, you're getting your new TV delivered today.
Yay!
And I've kind of got my big one. I've got a semi-decent soundbar myself. Like, if I got surround sound, would I need to go to cinema? Like, it's... And then, it's...
But this is the thing keeps kind of being brought up, is that cinema's dying and no one's going to the cinema, and like there's no original films anymore, it's just superhero films. I'm like, if you think that, you're not going to the cinema enough, because there's so many amazing original like gems that you need to be seeing. But the idea that people are just going to watch films on streaming, I'm fine with that, but the films that come to streaming services need to get better. Because right now, if I think of all the films that I loved this year, one of them was on a streaming service, and that was Annihilation. Everything else was in the cinema.
Yeah.
Because nothing that's coming to these streaming services is to the quality or the standard that you can get in the cinema. Because...
But why is that? Let's look at, now that we've reviewed a few movies, why is the quality not on Netflix?
I think it's because Netflix, if you compare them to the studios that are out there, are still in their infancy, and they're still learning how to make these films, distribute these films, market these, well, not distribute because they just put it on their website, but market these films, that stuff. Whereas you look at studios like Warner Brothers or Fox, well, not Fox anymore, but rest in peace, my friends.
Pour one out.
Yeah, it's just like do. I don't know what that noise was. Fox.
Pouring one out. Fox.
Like, all these big studios have been around for so long, they know what they're doing, and they know how to bring some of their big movies together and get them out there and just wow people with them, whether it be their Oscar-y thought-driven films, whether it be their big tentpole movie, whether it be whatever they're going to dump in January because they don't like it. They're experienced in that way and they know what they're doing. Netflix, still learning that.
Yeah.
And until Netflix learn how to get the complete package, because Annihilation is a film where they've got the film, but they then don't know how to get it out to the people, because I don't feel like anyone was talking about Annihilation.
No.
It was just like Annihilation came, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, I can't wait to see what people are saying, and I'm like, where is everyone? Hello? Annihilation, anyone? Okay, no, just me. Whereas Bright comes out, they pushed the shit out of Bright. Everyone was like, there's massive billboards, everyone knows about Bright, then they watch it and the film is shit. It's like, they can either nail one part and not the other part, or it's just like...
Yeah, so Netflix is clearly, and I think we can both agree, Netflix is definitely working towards being a studio, effectively.
Yes.
And one of the big boys. But, in Netflix's defense, the statistic for critically acclaimed movies, and if you go by Rotten Tomatoes critics versus user review...
I can't wait till we do Rotten Tomatoes and I talk about that.
But you know what I mean, like there's the critics review, there's a Rotten Tomatoes review, and it's a pretty good kind of, you can see the way the wind's blowing with Rotten Tomatoes, I think.
Sadly.
But you can see the way the wind's blowing, and if you looked at the majority of films that get released to cinema launch, and, then launched later on a streaming service, the statistics... in Netflix defense, is probably similar. 75 to 80% of films are garbage, and 20% are worth your time going to see.
Sure.
But
that's fair.
Here we are ripping Netflix and kind of giving the big studios a free pass because...
I think it's because we've spent so many years just going at these big studios, because I at no point will defend the big studios. They fuck up a lot and often. Like, I just read a thing today that because Venom was such a success, hold on a second while I slap my head against the wall because that's depressing to say that sentence. Venom was a success that Sony are now like, maybe we should take Spider-Man back and put him back into our own universe, and because they gave Spider-Man to Marvel for 5 films, and Spider-Man Far From Home, which will be the next standalone Spider-Man film, is the end of those 5 films, and after that Sony can be like,
oh god, 5 films.
Sony can be like, we'll have him back now because Venom's taken off. Carnage with Woody Harrelson and that Annie wig will be these big studios don't make great decisions all the time, but the consistency of their films quality wise compared to Netflix, I think, is like, because if I go to the cinema, I'm not just seeing Warner Brothers films, I'm seeing the breadth of all these studios and all these films.
But that's just titles.
If I go to Netflix and I see a Netflix exclusive film, often it's just rubbish.
No, I don't disagree with that, but the film is a sum of its parts. Granted, Disney might be the one backing the bill, and Netflix might be the one picking up the whatever, but James Gunn has jumped ship from Disney to DC, or Marvel to DC, and if the next Suicide Squad is, by some miracle,
good,
incredible,
I mean,
we'll all have to sit here and eat humble pie.
Yeah.
Because, and I suppose that's the point I'm making, is all it's going to take is Netflix to go, right, cool, James Gunn, how would you like this huge paycheck? And you can bring whatever team you decide is the best one. Because these people aren't loyal. I mean, well, maybe they are to a degree, but they're not. At the end of the day, they're going to go, everyone's going to go where the money is, because we are...
Yeah, because these are filmmakers and creators, and they want to go where the people give them the money to
create. And you'd hope that a lot of these people are going where the money is, the money and the chance to create what their vision is. And all it's going to take is Netflix to collect the right group of people and put them on a project that runs for the next 5 years. And suddenly we'll be sitting here saying, wow, Netflix has been smashing it. And we'll turn a blind eye to this shit.
But I feel Netflix is continuing to get these great creators in, give them the money they want to do the project they want, and then the projects are coming out and they're just like, I don't know, good.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a case of everyone loves to complain about studio interference, me being one of them, because look at Suicide Squad. It's the movie of this episode, apparently.
Yeah.
The studio interference in Suicide Squad was ridiculous.
Because it was, just very quickly, if I remember this, it was a comedy, or it was a serious film, and then they were like, test audiences, didn't like it, quick, re-edit the whole film into the comedy, or the serious. They switched it one way or another.
The studio that did the re-edit wasn't a film editing studio, it was a trailer making studio. So these got people who made trailers to re-edit the film. It's like, what? Like,
and then obviously they released it to critical acclaim.
That was a magical experience for that film. I'm just like,
but yeah, so I can't remember. Sorry, I went off topic.
I think it's there is sometimes studio interference is necessary. Yeah. Sometimes you need studios to be like, hey, no, maybe not, because once again, they have the money and the teams and the experience to be like, this isn't going to work. Let's not do this. They've got the producers. Like Warner Brothers will have their cabin full of producers, and they'll go, Gary, it's your turn, and you'll walk out and just be like, you did really great, because they love to, in trailers, the producer of such and such, such and such. Yeah. These people come along and they kind of shepherd.
Because I like, in my simple man world, I have stopped looking at the producer of this film and this film as any kind of badge of honor, because it's like, they produced this film that I loved, cool. Doesn't mean shit.
Creatively, it means nothing. All it means is they just made sure the money came in at the right time and that the right people were in the right place. It's the directors.
They were the managers. And it's like, if I went into a Tesco and my favourite, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, you're the manager of this place. Awesome, that's what I wanted. I wouldn't give a shit. It's Tesco where I'm going. I don't care who's managing this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas I think these studios have their producers, they have their teams, they're able to shepherd these directors. Netflix doesn't. I don't think they have that yet. I think they're going, here's your money, go nuts. Yeah. And these directors are going,
and it's because, okay. And it is because they got lauded a while ago for, if you get something on Netflix, they give you the free reign of creativity.
Yeah.
But you are 100% right. You are, you're talking me around.
Some of these
there needs to be someone, and there needs to be something there going like, cool, you're on a good course, but we're just going to slightly correct you, or correct you a lot.
Overcorrect sometimes.
Yeah, because this is maybe going down the shitter.
Because there are other directors who they don't need guidance, and they can go their own way and they can pull out something magical. And there's a lot of other directors who just need a little bit of just to stay on the tracks. And I don't think Netflix is offering that. And then that's where it comes down to, here's this incredible concept. Isn't this amazing? Look at this trailer, it's so cool. And it comes out, it's like, this is a mess. Because there was no one guiding this. That was able to keep it on track.
Yeah. Bastards.
Those bastards at Netflix. I'm coming for you. Me and my little weedy arms and all I do is type out words that are so weak.
So, question of the week, Gavin. How can we fix Netflix?
Go to Amazon Prime instead. There you go.
Well, you know what? We've got a little bit of time left. So, shall we just dive into Amazon Prime? Because I only had Amazon Prime briefly, and I was using it for, I think, the HBO programs that they were. Is it HBO, CBS? One
HBO, I think.
HBO. Just using it to watch the HBO programs, and then that was it. Done. The occasional film that they put up earlier than everything else, but I mean, this is a problem. My biggest problem with all streaming services, actually, and this is not what I was going to ask you at all, but I've gone off. I'm meandering. My biggest problem with all the streaming services is that there is no consistency among it, right? Like, if I buy a DVD, I can watch my DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, whenever I want.
Yeah.
I like to buy things digitally because I'm lazy and I don't like to leave the couch and press the button on the front of my...
Same.
Yeah. So I like
Plus
to buy things digitally.
I hate clutter.
Right? I like to buy it digitally so that I can just press the button, and the film starts playing. Awesome. What fucks me off, excuse the language...
What fucks you off?
What fucks me off, though, is it's like, I can't have a complete film collection that isn't in jeopardy of disappearing, right? And I get that's digital, whatever, but if I wanted to buy, let's say 5 different films... Let's say it was a Sony film, Warner Brothers, and a Disney film, and then 2 whatevers. Let's go 3 films. Changing my analogy. And Sony, Disney, and Warner Brothers all decided, you know what? Warner Brothers, we're just going to put it on the Xbox store and nowhere else. Disney's like, well, you have to buy it from our storefront. And Sony's like, yep, you've got to buy ours from our storefront. I then have 3 different films that I require 3 different apps for, and I can't watch them in one place. And it's fucking annoying.
Yes.
Like, just all team up and have a marketplace. Fine, keep your licenses, keep your option to fucking withdraw my ability to watch something I've watched because I chose to buy it digitally. Fine, I understand the worries, but just put them in one place. I don't want to fucking switch apps every time I decide to watch this TV show or that or this or whatever.
Yeah. Well, unbreathe.
Someone's riled up. You've probably seen me get.
I know. It's kind of a little scared and turned on at the same time.
My first world privilege is real, Gavin.
We are white men with problems. Help us.
Oh God, why are we doing this? Why are we putting this out?
Because the people need to know, Gary. They need to hear of our struggles.
But it's just like, have a storefront, let people buy it all from the one place, and let the one app just, like, even if that app was like, we're going to be streaming this from Netflix. I don't know how it would work, but like, it's just all joined in the one area, you know?
This is going off in a whole other direction.
Oh, yeah.
But this is like the other kind of problem with streaming services is they're great for so many reasons. Like, I can come home and me and my flatmate are like, do you want to watch a movie? And I'm like, and he's like, yeah. And I'll just scroll through it and he goes, I want to watch A Fistful of Dollars. And I'm like, great. Let's me introduce you to Sergio Leone. And that's what we did. And we watched A Fistful of Dollars. And I'm like, this is great. But before that, he was like, oh, let's watch Creed. Because he's never seen it. And I'm like, yes, we need to see Creed. Because Creed 2 is coming out. And Creed 1 is a fucking amazing film.
Absolutely.
Holy shit, that film blew me away. I was just tears at one point. I'm like, this is too good. This can't be that good. And he's like, yeah, let's watch Creed. And I type in, Creed's gone. It used to be there. It's not there anymore. And I'm just like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you go to Amazon Prime. It's not there. It's like, we could rent it. You get it for like, 30 days until you watch it. And
you got 48 hours to watch. Yeah.
Or you can buy it. But then it's like, I just don't like... I like buying digitally and I like renting digitally, but I also hate it at the same time because I just don't trust it.
I'm bad. I now rent films digitally.
Yeah.
I don't bother buying them anymore because I'm like, I'm not going to watch this again. I will buy that unless it's something I'm like in love. I think Ex Machina is the last one that I actually bought digitally, but everything else rent because it will come to a streaming service eventually. And if I do want to watch it again, £3 to rent it is not.
And HD, I'm like, bargain. Done.
Yeah, you know, rather than it's £15 to buy it digitally and you get the special features sent to your inbox. Oh, fuck off.
I'll just rent it. I'll stream it, and
I'll watch it the once.
Because I mean, there's so many movies as well to watch. It's just like the only reason I'm going back and watching old movies now is because my flatmate has seen no films at all. Apparently, I'm like, have you seen this? Like, no. He's like, you seen this? Like, no. So now I'm going through Netflix and Amazon Prime and just re-adding all the films I've always seen that he needs to see.
He's gonna watch,
and I'm just gonna go through the old category the old catalogue, I should say, while watching the new stuff. But it is the case of like all these, I want to watch this, I want to watch that, and it's gone. So I just go on Amazon Prime, the better of the streaming services, I'm going to say, and just rent it.
Yeah.
Plus, the greater thing about Amazon is they now have Amazon Studios, and they're putting out some amazing films and that through Amazon Studios, and they then just come to Amazon Prime and you just have them there to watch.
Yeah.
Like Moonlight was one of the most magical films I watched last year. I was blown away by Moonlight, and I watched it in the cinema, and just like it just made me welt into just sadness, but also be happy at the same time. And I was like, I want to watch that film again. And Amazon Prime's like, hey, it's here already. And I'm like, thank you, Amazon. Boom, watched it.
And that's maybe another conversation for another one, because we're coming up to time. But we are living in an age where instant gratification is the way.
Yeah.
We are bad for it. We all are. And going to see a film in the cinema and then having to wait, on average, 6 months...
3 months to 6 months, depending on the
before
studio.
I can see it again, is mind-boggling. Especially, and this is going back to something we talked about already today, especially when I have a 65-inch TV with surround sound, with my bed, and like the convenience...
And a girlfriend showing off.
You know, but like, you know, it's like the convenience, really... I'm getting a cinema experience, not me, because I don't have all that, but if I did, I can have that cinema experience at home.
Yeah.
Why can I not just have it at home? Why do I have to?
I want it now, give me...
Instant gratification, totally. Right, my man, on that, I think we're going to finish today's episode. So we have chatted about Netflix, we talked about Amazon, we did not get to the end of anything we wanted to talk about.
No, because we meandered was off. I mean... God, DC Universe. Suicide Squad, for some reason, is the film we talked about the most.
Oh, Suicide Squad.
I can't wait to talk about the DC Universe.
I'll write this into my notes for the episode. Just next episode, Suicide Squad.
That's the entire episode.
There we go. Thank you very much for your time, as always, Gavin.
Big Daddy Gav.
Big Daddy Gav. And we will be back soon for another episode of the Meandering Movie Podcast.
Bye!